for you, and
and it seems to be paying off, right?
Like, you keep putting me live in the middle of a sentence. I swear to God. The end of that sentence was very funny, and I'm not saying it live. It certainly wasn't the first of the
All right, fair enough.
Jesus, but you keep doing
that. Hello, everyone. This evening we're going to be going over scripts. For those of you listening out there, we were talking backstage, so I want to go out and go public on a few things. One, we really like it when other people come on. You're always welcome. So, Erwin, if you're listening to this on a replay or something, I know you would made some commitments to us, and I feel like we're kind of your writing sponsors, and I'm here to say, yes, Erwin, show up, bring the pages, let's see what you got. I look forward to seeing your artistic vision. I'm here for it. It's not a waste of my time. Please, by all means, come on to our stream again, and let's read some more of that time travel thing.
And yeah, even if you don't have pages, come anyways. Like, reading other people's work is a good way to be inspired. Like, I started writing again properly. I've got more work today.
Yeah. So anyway, John, are you here, present?
Yes.
You will be.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Awesome. There we go. Okay. Well, I want to show you Palace 5, which will be, going to letter pretty soon, because production just more or less started on Palace 4, right?
I mean, yeah, come January.
Wait, you're doing it backwards?
What do you mean doing it backwards?
No, we're not doing it backwards.
You said you're saying you're showing us Palace 5.
Yes, this is Palace 5 right here that we're looking at right now.
4 is being shipped to the creative team. Sorry, to the art team.
Yes. 4, having been done a while ago, has now finally started production.
As we were saying backstage.
Yeah.
I mean, need to probably review it for the dialogues. It's been so long.
Yeah.
But it's being shipped to the art team. So I guess this is some of our last revisions on 5.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see. Stick the landing, Preston.
I think this is pretty good. As I wrote it today, I'm like, you know what? I like this. It made me happy. So
all right. Well, how about I read some narration?
Go ahead. All right.
And then who is the primary speaker that we're going to stick?
John can be Samantha.
All right. Page 16, panel 1. Tied to the stake, flames begin to lap at Thora's feet and calves as Gretchen, horrified, and Tabitha, stoic, look on. In the foreground, Samantha, Edmund, and Arica celebrate Thora's demise.
As you requested, my queen, I gave Thora a slight immunity to the flames, ultimately prolonging her suffering. Her former squire will never forget this amplified horror.
Delicious.
Panel 2. Background. Thora recoils in obvious pain as the flames begin to consume more of her. Gretchen wails uncontrollably, and Tabitha can do little to contain her sorrow. Foreground. Samantha stokes the fires of Arica's and Edmund's rage.
See how she suffers.
Well done. I love this.
Panel 3. Background. The carved sigils that cover Thora's body begin to glow as fire consumes more of Thora. Foreground. Samantha tries to allay Arica's suspicion.
And the nature of those sigils that you carved into her?
Those grant the enchantment that prolongs her suffering, queen.
Quite right.
Panel 4. Arica and Samantha gawk as Edmund sounds the alarm.
How was that woman in the crowd working some kind of sorcery?
That didn't sound like an alarming sentence.
All right.
Guards. That woman in the guard is.
Okay, sure. You know what? You're right. Damn. Let's do this. Bam. There we go.
Page 17. Panel 1. Helena, the human sorceress of the Silver Hydras, levitates above the shocked crowd.
Go, John.
Fear not, young one, for your liege's suffering ends now. Who is she talking to?
Gretchen.
Gretchen's not in the panel.
Gretchen's not in the panel.
Above the shocked.
Hey, there we go.
Gretchen. How about now?
Now she's in the panel.
Now she's in
Yeah.
the panel.
Now she's
All
in the
right.
panel. Now we know who young one is.
Okay, there we go.
Panel
Because otherwise,
2.
I'm like, who's young one?
All right.
Flying above the distressed Gretchen, Helena sends
Yeah.
forth a bolt of lightning from her outstretched hand that cooks Thora to a cinder.
Bolt of lightning.
Pow. Panel 3. Madridorf, the drow cleric of the Silver Hydras, removes his hood as he steps before the crowd and readies his magic. Gretchen falls to her knees in grief. No!
This was not the plan, Helena.
I have no stomach for torture.
Panel 4. With her back to the crowd, Tabitha brandishes her sword at Mardridorf, missing the threat of the dwarf, Donan, readying his axe. Preston, is this your line?
Yes. You have been branded criminals by the Queen. Prepare to...
Page 18. Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Can we finish that sentence if we're going to cut to another page?
Prepare to... Well,
Flip the page. Prepare to flip the page, Preston.
We are flipping the page here. Flip.
To not finishing that sentence.
No, because her head, she dies here. Dunan.
Okay, well we
interrupts
need
her
like an
son.
Urk or something like that. of her
Okay.
dying whale. No, on the next panel where she dies.
Okay. So you want a Tabitha?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right, we can do that. Tabitha.
Or at least like a double dash to show that she's interrupted.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Dunan lops off her head. She never saw it coming.
There you go.
Panel 2. Madridor magically blesses Dunan as a horrified Gretchen stands over the corpse of Tabitha.
It should be Tabitha. Tabitha, right? Or Tabitha.
Tabitha.
I'm like, I didn't date a lot of Tabithas. Anyway, all right, there you go.
Blessing upon your sword swing, Dunan.
Why?
For the
Yo-or?
experience.
What is yo-or?
It's
Your-
an unnecessary capital letter.
Ah,
Okay,
fix it in post, right?
there you go.
Panel 3. Helena floats over a grieving Gretchen's head.
We're here for the angel's blood the summoner gave you.
It's gone. We used it already.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I still feel like that needs an extra panel for comedy.
Yeah.
Or just Helena being like, oh, oops. Anyways, that's a waste of pages. You bought enough pages.
Yeah.
Panel 4, panicked, the queen calls for backup.
We are under attack. Oh no. Yeah, John, you're our.
No, I was Samantha.
We
I
are
can
under
do our-
attack. Go ahead.
Governess Ho, high priestesses, show them the power of Viviax.
Okay, actually, we do have panels for comedy beats on that page.
Yeah.
Page 19. Background, burning undead Thora stands tied to a stake in the middle of a conflagration. Foreground, Samantha works the magic of her enchantment from the safety of the royal box above the fray. I'm really looking forward to going into this and switching all of your foreground and background notes later so your artist doesn't hate you.
What do you mean?
Foreground is the first thing they draw and it's the
Oh.
biggest,
Okay, got it. All right.
right?
So you're gonna put
background's
that
gotta work
first.
behind it.
All right. So I'm going to reverse the order then.
Well, I may well do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. Okay.
More of
No
a
problem.
like information hierarchy thing as compared
Yeah.
to an information quality thing.
Okay. All right.
Anyways, Samantha has a line.
Surrogate et Tunga.
And it echoes. That's great.
Panel 2, burning undead Thora's sigils glow with evil energy as she raises her head in cognition and malice.
Grrr.
Can't it just be malice?
Could be, yeah.
I don't know how one draws cognition, like that statue.
yeah.
Thinker.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, there we go.
That seems a bit, yeah. I think this is an angry undead creature, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, just malice is probably fine then. Panel 3, Dunan and Nimby cross swords with Sarah and Akasha. All of them seem intent on the fight. Gretchen looks towards the site of Thora's execution to see that burning undead Thora breaks free of the bonds that held her to the stake in the middle of the conflagration. I don't think we need the paragraph there.
Okay.
We don't, or the foreground and background, no. It's just this happens, also this happens.
Okay.
But good job putting foreground first.
There we go. What magic is this? Thor has arisen.
Just like Jesus.
Exactly. Yeah.
Page 20.
Just in time for Easter.
I threw a zombie rave around Easter once. It was
There
really
we go.
fun.
Yeah.
Nimby looks over his shoulder in fear. The background, burning undead Thor descends the burning pile of lumber, arms outstretched. I feel like these two actions should also be connected.
Well, yeah. He's running from her.
Oh, it doesn't say that. It says he looks over his shoulder in fear, and also she's walking down some stairs.
Yeah. All right. Fine.
They might be going. She might be going in a different direction.
Okay. All right.
Panel 2. No art.
Oh, that shouldn't be a panel.
Okay.
There we go.
Panel 2.
Grr. There we go.
Nimby dives out of the way of a jet of flame sent by flaming undead Thora.
Hell welcomes you, little one.
Panel 3. Nimby hides behind Madridorf, who takes the brunt of Thora's gout of hellfire.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, sorry,
Yes.
just while I
Yes.
remember it,
Yes.
is undead Thora still a staunchly lawful evil feminist?
Yes.
That page would be the place to do it then,
What's that?
to sell that instead
Well,
of
how
like
about
that little ones
this
like-
page? How about this page right here?
Well, yes, but she also does have dialogue on the previous page, right?
Okay.
Hell welcomes you, little ones, like, hell welcomes you, some
misogynist?
sure. A little misogynist.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But was
there we
Nimby an
go.
asshole in issue 1? I don't remember.
No, not really. But she doesn't need much.
Yeah, that's fair enough. She is undead and probably quite angry.
Yeah. Is it an I? Misogynist. Misogynist. Okay. Misogynist. All right, there we go.
There we go. So now undead Thora we know is a thinking creature.
Yes. And then
Okay, moving on to the next page.
Yeah. All right.
Page 21. Full page. Gretchen runs to flaming undead Thora as the 4 members of the Silver Hydras warily keep their distance.
But how, John, why don't you take over Thor?
Is she not undead anymore?
She is still undead. I don't need to
say undead. That's different. That's going to be a different speech balloon, and you know it.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Fine.
She's going to have on fire voice.
And I take it she's not burning undead Thora anymore. Since she's burning undead Thora.
Now she's flaming.
Flaming. Okay. Flaming.
I mean, next page might be Camp Undead Thora. Either way.
I mean, yeah, whatever. I think I'm clearly communicating what we're drawing here, right?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So the High Priestess invoked her magic to animate my body in service to her. In her jaded wisdom, Ereshkigal, Mother of Loss, chose to bind my soul to this form as well.
His form. He wrote his form. I think this is probably a better reading. On the last line of that one.
Yeah.
His
this
form.
Yeah, it should be this form. This form as well. Yeah.
I'll be Gretchen. I need some time with this. I think I'm going to faint.
Still yourself and rejoice that we both still serve at the pleasure of the Mistress of Oblivion and not the petty pursuits of Samantha. I will see to your safety, Gretchen. No harm will come to you this day, neither from
Oh wait, huh? For some reason, it did away with my inset panels. There should be two inset panels here where we go to the silver hydras, and these guys, or the Alluvians.
You may want to write a note to yourself then.
Yeah.
Page 22.
Wait, hold up. Is this?
Do you still have the previous version?
Where did it go? I don't know. Hold on, let me. I wrote them on another computer, so this may have to sync to the cloud.
What page is this for? 22?
Yeah.
Hold on. I downloaded a copy the other day, so I might still have this.
Well, no, I was just writing this today.
Yeah, I downloaded a copy before that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know where it is, but I can send you this copy.
Hold on. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, never mind. No, I don't even have that stuff. This is
okay.
All...
Yeah, here we go. This is All right, as you were reading, John.
Okay. So panel 2, insect.
Yeah.
The 4 silver hydras stand on guard. That's not how they're standing. They're standing on guard in English.
Okay. Fine.
Because they have backed off warily.
Yes.
Not in fencing positions.
Very well.
Each of the 4 ready to defend themselves if attacked.
Yeah.
the silver hydras.
Panel 3, inset. Edmund and Erika suspiciously eye Samantha, who returns their icy stares in kind.
Door from the queendom.
Dialogue works now. Go team.
There you go.
Page 22. Madridorf, the drow cleric, takes charge of his party. A force of ancient evil awoke in the ruins of Abracia. Crusading Alfred, the righteous lord of heaven, revealed to me vision of a governess named Thora, forcing her companions to convert. Panel 2. Samantha steps in front of Arica and Edmund to assert her leadership.
We put her to death once for her crimes. We would aid you in destroying her current form.
Panel 3. Thora's point of view, so I guess on fire?
Yes. Well, no, her point of view, like we're seeing through her eyes.
Well, and she is on fire.
I mean, we don't need to do that.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Gretchen's point of view. What?
It's fine.
Does it
Just mention that might come in the art.
Well, why don't we finish the damn paragraph before we decide if my point of view matters?
Fine. The Silver Hydras smile at Samantha's edict and begin to fan out. Madridorf and Nimby walk towards the viewer, while Helena levitates and Dunan moves towards the right of the frame. Each of them look for an opening to attack.
I think that's a good panel.
It's a pretty good panel. The border of the panel will probably include some sort of fire effect.
Yeah. All right. Fine.
Then leave us professionals to our work. Panel 4, Flaming Undead Thora stands before Gretchen in an attempt to shield her from harm. Gretchen looks up towards the royal box.
Is that the wishes of Queen Orica? Would you see the spirits of these two strong Alluvian women cut down by servants of a patrician god, the very ones who destroyed the blessings of Viviax just a few days ago?
A few days?
Yeah, don't you remember, like, issue 1, they came in,
Issue 4 was like months. She starts a war.
Okay.
At least say
months ago. How about that?
Cool. Better. Page 23, panel 1. Edmund smiles as Arica calls for the death of her rival.
The queendom forgives the silver hydras all past transgressions if they can destroy this abomination named Thora.
Panel 2, Flaming Undead Thora attempts to break up the newly formed coalition to kill her.
High Priestess Samantha carved these ruins into me.
Oh,
She
sure,
sought
yeah.
to use my undead form to kill you, Arika.
Panel 3, Arika and Edmund glance at Samantha, who shrugs.
Mistakes were made.
Panel 4, Arika accepts her victory with grace.
On both sides. Now,
So many ellipses to page breaks.
I was feeling it. Is it bad? I mean, like these people all have lines, you know, like
Yeah, it's okay. I prefer not to do it over a flip. I like over a spread. It's a little bit easier to get away with it.
all right, fine.
But you're kind of making it work. It's just happening a bunch.
Okay.
Foreground, the Silver Hydra's close for battle with flaming undead Thora, who seeks to protect Gretchen. Background, governesses Sarah, Tabitha, and Akasha.
Not Tabitha. She died.
Governesses Sarah and Akasha cringe in anticipation of watching their sister's gruesome deaths.
these bitches need to be put down.
All right, pausing you there for a second.
Okay.
There are 10 people on this page, and the one who's speaking isn't on it.
Yes. Is that bad?
Yeah, it's a splash page, Preston. If you don't have room for it on a splash page, where do you have room for it, Preston?
All right. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to put her in the action.
Governesses who are
okay, but she's still up in her royal box. I mean, like,
well,
it would be
in that case, it's gonna have to be a different frame.
Oh, because you want
an Arika over top.
Okay.
Saying those bitches need to be put down and pointing at them.
Okay, fine.
Pointing at them makes it better.
Okay, so
right.
So we'll do like a new panel here, inset panel, Arika. How's that?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go and fix that in a bit.
Because, like, okay, I'm imagining the frame here, right? You have Arika at the top, pointing at the bitches what need to be put down, saying those bitches need to be put down, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So if Arika is not at the top of the panel, use the inset to put her at the top of the panel, pointing at them bitches directly, even across the panel border. Break the border for that. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? It's meta, but it's cool. Mm-hmm. And then you have this big action scene over the rest of the page, right?
Right.
So you use maybe like 1/9, like a standard panel for Arika, and the other 8 panels can be this big fat action scene, right?
Right.
Does that land visually?
Sure. So yeah, it's one big action scene with Arika inset.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Okay, page 25. Panel 1, Nimby races towards flaming undead Thora, his dagger outstretched for a slicing attack. Slice.
Death to Diabolus.
Typical men, so sure of themselves.
Panel 2, flaming undead Thora grabs the dramatically smaller Nimby by the neck with her left hand. She blocks his impotent dagger swing with her right.
If that's all you're bringing to the party, dear, I've got some very bad news for you.
Sorry, question from the Peanut Gallery.
Yeah.
Why does she even care to block? She's undead.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
So, anyways, panel 3.
But, like, it really sucks when you get, like, muscles sliced, right? I mean, like, the undead still seem to kind of need their muscles a little bit. Or maybe they don't. I don't know.
I mean, that's an opportunity to get, like, kind of gross if you wanna.
Sure.
Anyways, panel 3. Thora holding him by the neck and wrist from the grab points featured in panel 2. Flaming undead Thora picks him up as her halfling shield. Okay, can you just replace the first instance of him with Nimby?
Sure. Oops, sorry. Nimby, yep.
Her halfling shield against the other 3 surprise silver hydras, levitating, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. At least we know who this is being done to.
Yeah.
You're now my hostage. Back off or he dies.
So, Those are new pages, right? What do you think?
Are we done?
Okay.
Yeah.
John,
We're
good
done.
thing.
Thief's not very good at his sneak attack. I mean, that's like his
Well, that's because he
His
wasn't
one
flanking
thing.
yet.
That's
He
when you're
was.
defending your work and not listening to criticism.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead. Sure.
John,
and
continue.
actually I should be saying good things, right? So
Yeah.
it was different. I like
Okay.
Undead Thora actually having a conversation and acting intelligent. I like those changes.
hmm
It makes her more of an active character in the scenes,
Mhm.
and kind of reestablishes her as a main character. Because I kind of felt like that was a little. She was kind of the plot was pushing her around. Now she's actually seems like she's driving the plot. So
Okay.
I think that's a strong change.
Yeah, I really agree with John. Like, even Undead Thora is interesting and doing Thora things, although she's completely heartless in a slightly different way. We don't really
Mhm.
see her get to be the dominant force in a lot of conflicts.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's fairly effective, and I think using Edmund to transition to the Silver Hydras actually works quite well.
hmm
Yeah. Constructives, John.
Um, well, yeah, I mean, okay, so NIMBY not doing thief things. I was reminded of what the dude's name we used to play Pathfinder with, who would just be like,
Rick.
"I'm gonna
Rick.
faint, Rick.
Oh.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
gonna faint and fall at
Yeah.
the feet of the person, and then they're gonna think I'm dead." And then he rolls
Yeah.
like an 18 on his stealth roll or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
where is that?
Yeah, thieves. Well, I mean, that's here because thieves are not particularly effective in combat, particularly if they haven't flanked yet. But I don't want to defend my work. But yeah, thieves kind of suck a lot of times.
I kind of feel like, well, I do kind of feel like, maybe he should do like a duck and roll to a flanking position rather
Right.
than like an attack, because
Yeah,
it seemed
and I
like
mean,
he was
like,
charging
really,
and
I just started.
attacking
Yeah.
fighter
Austin.
style.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to say, like, go ahead. Yeah.
Rastan, wait.
All right.
No, I just feel like he's your thief character and he's not acting like a thief. So that's
Okay.
that kind of jumped out at me.
I mean, okay.
I think for a first draft, it's fine.
Okay.
I would want to see how you conclude this scene, but I think some of the pages go a little long. There's a lot of back and forth that it could potentially be tightened up a little. Because there's just a lot of this happens, then this happens, then this happens. Whereas previously, you kind of just went in all chaos and shock and all, and it was just kind of crazy and all over the place. And then it stopped.
Well, it's the end.
It was all mad. It was all mad crazy, and then they went to the parlay, and then things kind of calmed down and resolved themselves. Where here, things are kind of more spread out, so you don't get that kind of craziness. But that could just be because it's a first draft and you're still workshopping it. That could potentially be changed later, I think. But that was the other thing that jumped out at me.
Yeah, I really agree with John on this. The first couple of pages had some repetitive dialogue, which was definitely a bit first drafty, when it's like, oh, I gave her these runes for this. What are those runes for? For that.
Yeah.
Which is set up, turnaround, which is not a great comedy gag.
Yeah.
And I would have certainly liked to see the adventuring party dodge or defeat the actual guards that Edmund calls for in this version before losing to Undead Thora. So you can show that they are effective, just, this is an unexpected turn, and it's so unfair.
Right.
But actually, they were doing fine up until the zombie came.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And that might let you spread out the action where
Right.
you don't have so many characters on screen and so much dialogue, and you can show people just, you know, fighting guards in the background without having to get murdered by Thora constantly, because Thora's
Right.
not out to kill this adventuring party. She's
Yeah.
out to kill Arika and Samantha and Edmund and all the people who just fucking killed her.
Yes.
So getting the adventuring party away from that for a bunch of this fight actually works to your benefit here and lets you keep Thora's scenes more about Thora.
Mm-hmm. Oh, awesome.
So
Well, I'll
now
get to
you
work
can
on
defend
that.
it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, I really sat and thought, like, okay, if this was, and I've done so much dungeon mastering, and inevitably, if you have the 4 classic, you know, character archetypes in a party and shit goes down and there's a giant undead zombie, what do? Roll initiative. Who always goes first in initiative? It's the thief. He's got like a dexterity of, you know, 16 or some shit, right? And a lot of times they'll have like the improved initiative feat. So like the thief typically will go first, but the thief is usually only really strong when he's flanking, and the guy, his flanking partner, typically hasn't acted. So a lot of times the thief will just run by or tumble through or whatever, and while they're there, maybe they'll make like a little minor attack, but you know, they're really just kind of an opening salvo launching themselves into the fray. And then if Thor goes next, and or you know, simultaneously can kind of bam gets him, and then and I've had it happen in D&D games where the thief goes first, just runs into an unknown monster, doesn't know what the monster can do, no idea, but just assumes, well, this is an appropriate challenge, and the thief just runs in to flank the monster, and this monster is grossly OP, and maybe the thief shouldn't have done that. And then by the time it's the rest of the party's initiative, the thing already has the thief, and now you got to rescue him. So I've seen that.
I mean, I think that's a good story. I wish if you were going to tell it, the other PC characters would say that. I'd be like, no, Nimby, stop running in before we know what the monster is. No, man, I can backstab him.
Okay, yeah, it's a good idea. Okay.
Like, if you're going to do it, like, just commit to the bit.
Yeah.
And has Helena, she's your magic person, so she would need to do her intelligence roll on what the creature is. And she probably hasn't done that yet because it's not her turn.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, talking is a free action. Nimby, stop. Undead are immune to flanking attacks.
Right, yeah.
You know, while he's midair leaping over a guard.
Right, yeah.
Like a freaking, like, ninja. Like, that's how you do it.
Okay. Sure, I could do that.
And so, yeah, if that's your bit, commit to the bit.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So who wants to go next?
John, do you want to, or do you want to do mine?
It makes no difference to me.
Well, Preston, flip a coin or make a decision or whatever.
Harpies.
Harpies it is.
All right.
Can't wait to read me some Harpies.
Issue 2, page 1 rewrite.
Okay.
Though I'm really happy with the way these pages turned out, so I hope you guys like them.
The process kind of works, right?
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. The process totally works. That's why we keep doing it.
Exactly. There we go.
All right, let's go. Exterior, desert oasis, night. A raging bonfire burns. Drums beat. African witches dance sensually to the rhythm, chanting aloud. Oompa loompa.
Yeah.
We've got a little story for you.
There we go.
The oldest of the witches, a woman in her 60s called the matriarch, raises up her arms. Her mother named her the matriarch, John? Whatever.
Spirit of our ancestors,
that's fine. Yes,
we welcome your presence.
The drumming intensifies.
External magics of old flow through your servants.
Flow or red energy radiates from the fire swirling around the dancing witches.
One or the other, Ian.
Figure it out.
Your daughters' souls lay before you, beckoning you to enter.
As the witches dance, the red magical energy radiates, appears to coalesce into Jezidrow.
Grant your daughters your strength and power that we may annihilate those who have wronged us and those who still seek to wrong us.
I'm going to forget this, John, but does it coalesce or does it just approach Jezidrow? You write appears to quite a lot, and it's the thing I've noticed.
Oh, make up my mind, decide what's actually
Stop saying
happening.
appears to, I guess.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
Yeah. Jezidrow's dancing shifts for sensual rhythms to an
It should be
erratic
from.
dance. Well, I know that, but I'm reading what's in front of me. Her hair ignites into white fire. Zola, the witch dancing closest to Jezidrow, watches in awe.
Dearest matriarch, the ancients have chosen.
Exterior Pyramids of Giza night. A fuzzy, distorted image of the Great Pyramid. Oh, it's Jezidrow's vision of the pyramids of Giza. Good job with the location tag there. A green haze grows around an object. The stones shake violently. Green light burns out from between the stones until kaboom! The pyramid explodes in a blast of greenish energy. Exterior, desert oasis, night. The red chaos magic lifts Jezidrow off the ground, her head and neck arched back. Zola and the other witches gather around, continuing their chant. Oompa Loompa, etc. Exterior, Pyramids of Giza, night. Jezidrow's vision continues. In a swirling vortex of green energy at the base of where the pyramid once stood, stands a hulkishly deformed Joseph Moyler, his veins pumping green blood, glowing visibly under his skin. His eyes glow green as the power swells within him. Moyler raises his hand towards the viewer, holding a large softball-sized Hecate stone, a green glowing crystal. John?
By the powers granted to me from the Almighty Creator, the Libarskense shall cleanse the world of sinners and the impure and make straight the path of salvation.
There we go. Exterior Desert Oasis night. Jezidrow falls to the ground as the red chaos magic dissipates and her appearance returns to normal. Zola drops beside her, caressing her hair. Exterior Desert Highway, day. Erin drives a Jeep as Longfu reclines in the passenger seat with her legs hanging out the side. When we're done playing spy games, we visit the pyramids. Oh, and the Sphinx. There's got to be like the biggest game of Got Your Nose in the world.
We are visiting the pyramids. Did you not listen to Colonel Smith's briefing?
Of course I did. I just wanted to make sure you did.
Really?
Erin rolls her eyes.
We're investigating a report about those who have prolong exposure to the stones and how similar the mutation effects are to radium. It was as if the ancient Egyptians were living next to radiation source as powerful as the sun for 100 years until they suddenly weren't.
What happened 4,000 years ago that would have stopped that level of radiation? Exterior Pyramids of Giza day. Erin drives the Jeep off the highway towards the Great Pyramids.
That's what we're going to find out.
Once Erin cuts off the Jeep, both stand reaching into the back. Erin takes out dual pistols, straps them to her hips, followed up by a Geiger counter. Are you expecting the mummies to attack?
Never hurts to be prepared.
Weren't mummies like a huge thing in the 40s? Like huge?
I mean,
like King Tut was found in the 20s, right?
Yeah.
Like, so huge.
Yeah, they were, yeah, and then they were the original, Universal monster. In fact, the first Universal monster, right? Like Frankenstein was done by, competitors, Warner Brothers, I think, or no, it's just, one of those old big studios, RKO, I don't know, something. Anyway, Frankenstein came out, and it like launched like the talkie horror, like all of a sudden, this was like the first kind of big phenomenon outside of Lon Chaney Jr.'s Fan of the Opera and stuff. It created quite a stir.
Yeah, and I know mummies were like the first like new monster of the 20th
Right.
century.
Yeah,
like, new mythical monster of the 20th century. The 20th century had plenty of real monsters. Thank you.
Yeah. So that was, and you know how Hollywood is. Like if there's one movie that just changes everything, everyone's talking about it. So everyone was talking about Frankenstein, and Universal was like, "Oh yeah, well here's our big talkie horror picture," and it was The Mummy. With Boris Karloff.
Anyways, yeah, Egyptomania was huge, so we can really lean into the mummy thing if that's actually fun. It's a good excuse for lots of conversation if there's room for it. Was where I was going with that, John. Yeah. Long Fu grabs her throwing knives and a katana before leaping out of the Jeep. As they approach the stone steps leading up to the entryway, the clouds overhead grow dark and menacing. Maybe someone inside is awake after all. Aaron turns, noticing a caravan of marching soldiers leading elephants approaching. Yes, that was grammatical. She reaches into her satchel, removing her spyglass. Isn't Egypt an ally? Aaron's point of view. An army of undead soldiers brandishing ancient Egyptian armor and spears lead 3 undead elephants as they approach the Giza complex.
My God.
Aaron hands her spyglass to Long Fu. They don't look friendly.
Nor do they look alive.
Long Fu hands the spyglass back to Aaron. I hate when you're right all the time. Aaron and Long Fu walk across the plaza towards the approaching undead army. Jezidrow, along with 2 other necromancers, drop down from their undead elephants approaching on foot. The undead soldier stop. The undead soldier stop forming a perfect circle behind them.
Good job. Good job, undead soldier.
It's a non-binary undead soldier. That was the confusing part.
Exactly. with the they them pronouns, yeah.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant Rice.
Afternoon. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Would you like to introduce me to your friends?
Jezidrow raises her hand towards Aaron and Long Fu.
The one you walk with, her life force. You are the avatar of the gods.
So people keep saying.
These colonizer Mahor do not deserve your words. These are my coven sisters, Zola and Imane.
Jezidrow.
Aaron and Long Fu exchange glances as discussion gets increasingly heated.
Sisters, clearly the gods walk with them. Perhaps we shouldn't be so hasty. Godzilla. Whatever.
Just say Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Please tell me Godzilla shows up. A few of the undead army draw back bows aimed at Aaron and Long Fu. Aaron draws her dual pistols aimed for Zola and Imani. Long Fu readies her katana. That was a comma splice.
Yeah.
Clearly, you have taken in too much of the colonizer's seed that you would think the gods would choose one of them as their avatar.
Jezidrow throws up her arms, standing between Imani and Aaron.
Can you not sense the life force within her? Please, dear sister, to stand against the avatar is to stand against the gods.
Zola reaches out, touching Jezidrow's shoulder.
You know the words and teachings of our dearest matriarch. You have welcomed them into your soul as we have welcomed you into our hearts.
Zola leans into Jezidral, kissing her passionately on the lips.
You have told us of your past with this one, so I will take this burden from you.
Zola steps past Jezidral towards Aaron and Longfu. As she approaches, Aaron points both pistols at Zola. Red chaos orbs manifest in Zola's hands as she closes the distance.
Godzilla, right? Yeah.
Several undead soldiers on Zola's side draw their swords.
Nikki!
A sinister smile crosses Imani's lips.
Porfora.
The undead soldiers fire their arrows. Longfu deflects them with her katana.
Good job. Kurosawa.
The undead soldiers on Zola's side charge forward with their swords. Aaron opens fire on Zola and Imani.
Novo.
The bullets are deflected off chaos magic fields that appear around the two witches. Tears streaming down her face, Jezidral whispers.
Formo.
A spear of conjured red chaos magic pierces Zola through the chest as
Oh,
blood spills from her mouth. The
shit.
conjured spear in Jezidral's hands as she runs Zola through the back. The conjured spear in Jezidral's hands. No, there's just no verb there. Okay.
Yeah.
As Zola drops to her knees, her third of the undead army exploded into dust.
It sure did. Oh, wait,
Sure.
holy shit. This is a Moby sentence. As Zola drops to her knees,
I mean, you not see the
her
previous
third of the undead army
The
exploded
verbless
into
Bolby sentence. John, is there something you'd like to tell us?
Say what now?
You use Moby
I
AI to
missed
write
that.
this, but
Yeah,
Oh.
like, did you convince an AI to write like Bolby?
yeah, yeah. ChatGPT in the style of Moby, write this action. As Zola
that would
drops
be
to her
awesome.
knees, a third of the undead army.
Yeah, you try
exploded
reading it
into
aloud.
dust.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Okay. The conjured spear dissipates. Jezidral falls to knees. Oh my god,
Yeah.
this is a Bolby sentence.
Yeah.
This is a Bolby page. Wrapping her arms around Zola as the wounded necromancer coughs blood, unable to speak.
I'm so sorry, my love.
I don't know if you read that properly. I think it's I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Jezidral holds her tight in her arms. The last bit of life leaves Zola. Imani stands furious.
You traitorous Hora, our dearest matriarch, shall hear of.
Jezidral raises her hand towards Imani.
Missive.
Several small darts of conjured chaos magic fly from her hand, piercing Imani. Her hand. Jezidral's hand. Okay, yep. As she falls to the ground, as Imani falls to
I see what you're doing. Yes.
Aaron steps forward to Jezidral. Also, nobody's undead army bursts into dust in the same tense as the rest of that sentence in which that clause appears on that whole page, by the way. Yeah. Aaron steps forward.
Nikki.
Don't.
Jezidral lays Zola's lifeless body tenderly on the ground.
First my Arthur, then my dearest Zola, am I cursed to walk this world alone and in darkness.
Aaron kneels down, putting her arms around Jezidral.
I'm going to be okay.
As Aaron hugs Jezidral, she notices a third of the undead army standing ready to attack.
So you can control them now, huh?
Jezidral wipes the tears from her eyes.
They are psychically linked to my mind. They will do only what I instruct them. I have learned a great many spells since our last encounter.
Well, I can't wait for you to tell me all about it.
Yes, I imagine there are quite a few spells I suspect would be useful to you. But first, we must recover the stone.
All right, that's all we got today.
Yeah, I have the rest of it. It just went over 10 pages, so I was like, we'll save the second half for...
Oh, okay, Danny. What do you think?
Sure. The vision works as a preface and meaningfully introduces Jezidrow and one of her friends to everybody. And the girls being en route to the pyramid kind of already works as almost as well as if they just showed up there. And the action was very dense and probably very cool. Although it was written like Mulby wrote it.
Yeah.
Well, Mulby wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there were parts that were a bit confusing to me, which I will get to later, but
Yeah.
I suspect it will look very cool.
Yeah.
Preston?
Yeah, no, I think the characters felt a bit more true to themselves, you know. Like I felt like you were cutting some new ground here with Jezidrow killing Zola. I don't think you did that before. So this seems like new ground for Jezidrow. We're finally seeing that this woman who summons zombies and releases them without having any real control over what they do might be evil. And so that was good. I'm glad, you know, we're seeing her complete lack of ethics, and that's awesome. You know, like we're seeing that this is a character who kills. This is a villain. I thought that was pretty good. So. Constructives. Go ahead, Dan.
Okay. The vision was cool. The German guy talking was totally unnecessary. You could have done that all visually. There's a pyramid. The pyramid blows up. The guy's walking out holding a stone.
I do it all visually, and you complain. There's no dialogue in this panel.
Yeah, the thing is weirdly, because it's a vision, the dialogue makes it worse. So yeah, sorry. Imani or whatever, one of the other characters who controls half an undead army, is not introduced in the sexy witchy dance scene. So that didn't work for me. We could have just had Zola and that would have been fine. I would have liked to see Long Fu and Aaron just be at the pyramid. Like, I mean, why can't they just be there as a real thing? And there's still no answer to that. Like, they can just be there climbing up the steps or like getting out of the car talking about this. And they're trying to do something instead of just trying to go somewhere. And then they're interrupted by an undead army. That I feel like that would be cooler. Elephants in an Egyptian army ring very untrue to me. It's the other side of North Africa that had elephants. That's like
Carthage.
a Carthage thing.
Yeah.
And they had to go. They didn't go through Egypt. They went around the long way to get across the Mediterranean. So, like, you know, a very Egyptian thing would be like horse-drawn chariots. So if you're gonna do the bit, commit to the bit. I did not, unlike Preston, understand most of what happened in the action scene between the three witches, because none of that was really in English. And one of the characters was Ms. We just introduced her to be expendable, and then the other person dying seemed vaguely like it was Jezidrow / Nikki's own fault, although that was still very confusing to me. So I don't know what their argument was really about. It was really just, it went over my head. I was trying really hard to pay attention to it. So I think fewer characters, a clearer dispute. Like, we shouldn't let
Okay.
outsiders know about our magic. But she already knows. Shut up, we're going to kill her anyways. Oh, now we have to fight. Like, that sort of thing might work better. But again, the action was fairly cool. Just I was so confused.
I'll be right back. So, Danny, go ahead and give him another 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay, well, that was pretty much it. It was like, I think this is very cool. I just don't really know what's happening there. So I'm really sorry, John. I was trying really hard. And
okay, so I'll explain what's happening, and then maybe you can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, was I interrupting?
No, it's
okay,
all you.
So what I was trying to set up was that Jezidro realizes that. So in issue 5 of Spear of the Dragon, Julia gets the meets the dragon and gets the power of God, basically.
Cool, got that.
So that is why she gets nicknamed the Avatar. So that happens in issue 1 of this series. In this series, she's nicknamed the Avatar. So Jezidro, who has the ability to sense basically power levels of supernatural, magical people, basically recognizes that Longfu has the power of the gods in her. So the idea of this scene is to establish that she thinks, oh, maybe I'm on the wrong side of this conflict if the gods are with my quote-unquote enemy. And that's supposed to be, that's the catalyst for the conflict between her and Zola, which then forces her to make a decision. Do I stick with the original plan, which essentially is a what was that movie that just came out that kind of was so about the African warriors that were like, I forget the name of it. Came out like 6 months ago. It was that amazing that pretty much everybody forgot about it. Mm-hmm. But so it's kind of like, that's kind of like what their objective is, to basically to, genocide all of England to get back at them for colonizing Africa. So basically that's kind of their mission. But anyway, so the whole point is that that's where Jezidro basically figures out that, or recognizes that the gods are with her enemy. So she's starting to think that I'm on the wrong side. And that's where the conflict starts, and then culminates in her basically killing her lover.
Okay, so having heard that explanation, I don't remember issue 1 that deeply, but I don't know if all of this is discussed explicitly there. And
Jezidro's not in issue 1.
So that good. I figured it was something like that. So
yes, this is her introduction.
What we've got here is, I think, too many steps in the chain of causality. What if Jezidro and the other 2 witches are like, oh, we can't let you in. Oh shit, it's Aaron. Well, we still can't let you in. Blah blah blah. Colonizers. And then Jezidro's like, well, I'm sorry, you're cool, but I got to do this. War's war. Sends her third of the zombie army over, and then realizes that Longfu is the Avatar when Longfu kicks a bunch of ass, and then is like, oops, I did something wrong. And then, disappears her own zombies to keep potentially the good guys out of danger. Then she's done a thing. And that thing is the catalyst for the argument with the other zombie-wielding witches.
So there you go.
Okay.
Would that sort of smooth it out and have each of those steps be its own action beat?
So Amani attacks, Longfu fights them off, then they have a conversation.
I say Jezidro attacks and sends her army, and then, Longfu fights them off for Aaron because they're zombies, right? Right. And Aaron's like, oh, they're zombies. And Longfu's like, well, screw this. I've got the spirit of the dragon. Let's go, bitches. The Kung Fu's a bunch of zombies. That's going to be cool. kicks people's heads off and shit. It'll be great. And then Jessica was like, "Oh shit, I think she might be the good guy. I'm gonna stop this now," and unsummons her zombies. And then when she unsummons her zombies, the other two witches are like, "Bitch, what you doing, you traitor?" And she's like, "No, those guys are probably the good guys. That's an avatar." And they're like, "Yeah, we don't believe you. They're probably colonizers anyway. Screw this." And that starts the fight.
Okay.
Like, would that work? And that separates out the two motivations into two separate action beats.
I think so. And then puts a nice little action scene in the middle that
And
looks really
it gives Longfu something to do as well.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks for explaining that, because I was so confused by what was happening and what the motivations were. So I'm glad we got that sorted.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, as I said, I'm trying to reintroduce her and do something.
I think introducing her as a
interesting with it.
villain is the right play. Keeping it on the zombie theme is definitely the right thing to do. I don't know if she needs to show up with two friends. One friend is probably fine. Like, you might not need the third witch.
Well, that's what I was thinking based on what you guys were saying earlier, is that it might be stronger if I just have it be the two of them.
Yeah, like, unless you show her being in like a throuple with both of those witches in the intro, it's not really worth having another witch there for like no reason.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Right.
so this is not really a rewrite. I've punched up the first 5 pages a little bit, so
Okay.
there's not really a huge need to read through it again. And we can
Okay.
probably start from page 5,
All right.
from the next scene. Or I guess, yeah, around here is probably good. But yeah,
There's a scene header. Wow, that's not a scene header.
No, it's all one
well,
location.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll start on page 4. What the hell? All right. I'll be Rick. I don't know about that. I think it'd suit you. We'd take it. But if I had a say in the matter, I think you should keep it for now.
Danny, why don't you do Jane and I'll narrate.
that works. Wait, what?
Jane looks up at Rick as he holds the dress and imagines him dressed as a groom, sharp and strong, not noticing that underneath his sunglasses he's hollow inside. She's in love. Jane smiles at him. Rick puts the dress back in the bag, breaking the illusion.
Name's Rick. I go to Woodside too.
I'm Jane.
Jane realizes Rick's referring to her sweater.
Oh, this. It's just a hand-me-down from my dad. I don't go there. I'm homeschooled.
Makes sense. I would have remembered seeing someone as charming as you. I'm off tomorrow night. Let's go for the fair.
Jane checks her phone.
Tomorrow? My mom wants me to go to this youth group meeting to catch up with my Bible study. What about Saturday?
Saturday, yeah. I can probably get away in the daytime when my uncle's past sleep.
Jane looks excited momentarily, then swallows her nerves to clean the air.
This is a date, right? You just asked me on a date?
Rick realizes Jane's taking this quite seriously. He laughs nervously, then decides to commit.
Yeah, I did.
They smile at each other, infatuated. Jane reaches across the counter to hold Rick's hand and look into his eyes. He grins. So does she.
There's just one thing.
I'm really a dude. No, just kidding. Rick thinks a shoe's about to drop. He's made a horrible mistake.
I I won't be doing sex stuff before marriage, all right? This is going to just be a normal date where we do normal date things, okay?
I thought sex stuff was part of normal date things. It takes a second for Rick to realize this was a big fuss over nothing. He laughs, then he hops over the counter, takes Jane's hand in his, and gets down on one knee.
That's all you're worried about? You already got a dress, and I'm sure I can find you a nice ring on that short notice.
Rick gestures to the jewelry in the glass case that's part of the counter. Jane remains seriously.
I'm not joking. My parents would kill me. Maybe both of us.
Rick looks serious.
Neither am I. Maybe we should talk about it more after our first date.
Rick stands up. Jane smiles. He smiles back. She draws him in and kisses him, rather quickly, on the cheek. She lingers. Just as Rick's about to lean in to kiss her back, on the mouth, she turns and grabs her things.
Good idea. See you Saturday.
Jane leaves, beaming like it's the first day of the rest of her life. Interior, Jane's house day. Jane's house is a performatively decorated by a pious housewife obsessed with appearance and perfection. Wall decorations include perfect family photos and faith-based decor of the blandest possible kind, but nothing here to celebrate anybody's personal achievements in any way. Jane enters through the back door, body tense, then relaxes when she notices the lights are off in the kitchen and the living room. She kicks her shoes off and hurries into interior, Jane's house, living room. One corner of the living room, not visible from outside, features a shrine to Jane's dead aunt. She tries to hang the dress back up on the hook without looking at the centerpiece photo, but fumbles it. The dress falls, toppling most of the photos and keepsakes.
Oh, sugar, sugar, sugar.
Jane never notices the single earring that fell below the table. She hurriedly picks up all the fallen memorabilia to reset the shine. As she resets the central photo, a foiled envelope slips out of the backing.
What the heck?
Jane opens the envelope to find a note inside. She reads it.
Dear Deborah, I'm getting married. I thought I'd let you know first, since you're my only sister. You'll meet Jake soon enough. He's a great guy and he makes me happy. Plus, sex is amazing. You should try it sometime. Don't think this means you were right. All that bullshit Mom and Dad and Pastor Luke go on about being submissive won't make you happy. And even when you've lost your virginity, you'll still get to keep the box it came in. All that purity nonsense is nothing compared to finding your bliss with someone who expects you to be nothing more than your best self. Someday, I hope you get to learn the same lesson, and you'll be happy too. See you in St. Louis, Tiff.
The sound of a car pulling up to the driveway turns Jane's confusion into panic. Jane pockets the letter, then rushes the rest of the cleanup job, barely finishing it in time to get the other side of the living room, turn on the lamp, sit in the armchair, and open a heavily annotated and cross-referenced Bible before the door opens. Jane, I'm home. Where are you?
In the living room.
Deborah, late 30s, enters the living room. Her plastic smile simmers into anger when she sees Jane in the armchair. What are you doing in your father's chair?
My schedule today included an extra session of Bible study, so I thought I'd...
Young woman, you will honor your father and mother by standing up when you speak to us. Jane stands and faces her mother.
Yes, Mother.
Deborah starts as if she's about to say something kind. She stops herself, then slaps Jane hard across the face. Jane, knowing well enough not to cry out, stands herself up. Deborah slaps Jane again, harder. When Jane returns to looking forward, Deborah pulls back her arm as if to hit her again, then she checks herself. I wish I didn't have to do that. You know I love you, don't you? It's just... Deborah gets onto her lecture, careful to do so as emotionlessly as possible. Your father and I appreciate your diligence in your studies, but that is his chair, and you will not sit there without express permission. Next time, you are to study in your room. Do you understand me, young woman?
Yes, Mother.
Good. Now go to your room and clean up. Your father and brother will be home in 2 hours, and a good woman never lets her men go hungry. You'll cook dinner.
Yes, mother.
Okay, that bitch needs to die. Exterior
There we
fair,
go.
dead. Bring on the horror, because I'm ready for it now.
You know, this is
And
supposed to be a horror movie.
if you pull some of that, what was that, Carrie stuff and have her wait around until the end, I'm not going to be happy. Exterior fair, day. Jane waits for Rick at the entrance to the fair, dressed in the clothes she bought from the secondhand shop, plus a pair of thick-rimmed sunglasses to help her hide her bruised eye. She sits against the concrete barricade, hands clasped in her lap, staring forward with a vague plastic smile. Rick approaches from the side and awkwardly sits beside her. Neither dares to look at the other.
Hey, you're cute. Let's go out.
Sorry, I'm waiting for my boyfriend.
Oh, yeah? What's he like?
The sort of person you'd remember when a girl looks like when he asked them out for one.
Rick stands up, speaks accusingly.
Well, how would he?
Jane flinches at the raised voice. He sits down again, still facing away from her, and continues.
How would he know she's his girlfriend then if they haven't even kissed yet? They haven't even gone on a date.
Jane takes a moment, thinking how to respond.
I don't know. Oh, sorry. That's Jane.
I don't know. He's from a rough part of town. Maybe her parents taught her differently.
Now Rick's the one who feels insulted.
Her parents must be privileged then, thinking any part of town where brown people live counts as rough. Maybe she should think for herself.
Jane reaches over and holds his hand.
Maybe she should. Maybe she's barely 17 and doesn't know any better. Maybe she's trying to be less judgmental.
Rick stands up again, still holding her hand, and sits in front of her. Now they face each other. He softens his voice.
Then maybe he should finally take her on that date instead of talking about it.
Maybe they should start with an ice cream?
Jane ends her question with a smile. Rick kisses her tentatively. She lets him.
Maybe they should get to it before it's time to go home.
Rick stands up, still holding Jane's hand. She joins him into the fairgrounds.
They're going to do it. Hooray.
I know. It's like a
Hooray.
weirdly semi-wholesome story. And so clearly...
They're going to do it. Go ahead,
do it and unleash a demon.
You think so?
Or a ghost.
Yeah, John, why don't you go? Tell us what you like about this.
So stuff's happened. Characters were introduced. Yes. Emotions towards said characters were felt. So I think that you did that well. I thought the banter between the two characters was better, I think, than I remember the last time. The last time it seemed a little, I don't know, a little I don't want to say sitcomish. It felt a little Seinfeldish, where it was just kind of like there, and then the laugh track tells you that you're supposed to laugh. But this time it actually seemed it was better. It seemed more, it had more personality to it.
Okay.
all right, constructive. I mean, I thought. I mean, does this continue? I assume it continues, right? This is going to
This
be
is
more.
meant to be a feature.
Yeah. Okay. So, hey, I like it. I look forward to seeing what happens next. I really don't have much to add. I don't think. So, yeah. John, do you have any ideas how you might improve this work?
For these 5-6 pages that we read, no.
Yeah.
It seems like things were moving in a direction. I guess the only thing is, it still doesn't. If I bought the ticket not knowing the genre of this movie,
Yes.
I would be. Or let me rephrase. If I bought this ticket expecting that I was getting a horror movie and this is what I got for the first 10 minutes, I think I would be a little disappointed. And I think I
Sure.
said that the last time too.
Yeah.
Is that I just feel like that there's not there seems to be a little lack of the foreshadowing of what we're
Yeah, I
gonna
guess
get.
I could see
And
that.
maybe that's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel
If people are gonna die violently, I feel like I should know it by now. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
could agree
I
with that.
definitely haven't committed to that bit yet.
Okay.
The direction I'm going with this is more that like Jade just gets increasingly unhinged and like gremlin-y in the
Okay.
sense of like she just like gets very self-indulgent.
hmm
Rick very much encourages this. And she leaves a bit of a trail of social destruction in her wake. And it's so I guess it's more of a thriller
Okay.
than a horror.
Yeah.
Although, when I figured out more ghost shit, which is largely someone else's idea, and I haven't really nailed down what it is. Like I'm just writing ahead anyways.
Yeah.
So if there's more to the ghost thing, then we can do that. I know if we're going to be focusing on death and violence and stuff, then there's probably a sensible prelude of like whatever happened to the dead person who was doing the haunting is the chief
Right.
to put that at the beginning. But I do still like that it's a rom-com at the beginning of two very broken people waving all the red flags and like forging ahead anyways.
There you go.
And I'm committing to that bit as
Yeah.
much as I can, given this is something I haven't really written before. I'm trying to make like the romance kind of sweet and the people obviously not well fit for each other.
Yeah. Okay. Cute. I like it.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's coming across particularly well, but like
No,
I feel
I don't feel that. I don't feel like, oh my god, these guys are gonna explode. So
yeah, like I'm trying, and it's been a while since I've seen, but even in like American Psycho, we knew what's his face was like messed up from the beginning. Like,
yes,
I don't think he killed. It did take him a while before he finally killed.
Look, the movie opens on him showing you how artificial and empty and unhappy he is. That's the open of the film. American Psycho. Right, he talks about his daily cleansing, regimen.
Right.
How he puts on this mask, how he does all this stuff, and I feel empty. I feel, like he's very strongly saying, I look good on the outside, but inside I feel nothing, and I want to kill things. Like he opens the movie that way.
Well, maybe I'll discover what this movie is as I keep on writing it then.
Okay, there we go.
There's nothing wrong with that either. There's
nothing wrong with that.
That's what the rewriting process is all about.
Yeah, I mean, Guinevere used to be something totally different, and now it's Guinevere.
Oh, it was. Viviac stole the show.
Yeah,
and this is like I'm still like this is very star-crossed lovers. I feel like that should be coming across.
Okay, sure.
And definitely will like in two scenes when we introduce ourselves to Rick's differently terrible home life.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna at least finish setting the stage meaningfully, and then we can put these two horrible families in the same room with each other and watch some chaos happen.
Awesome.
Maybe this is secretly a comedy.
Maybe.
God, I hope not.
All right. Is that it? Is that everything?
Is it?
John, you got anything else to add?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, next week I'll have some polished up pages on Palace, so you see how it goes.
And I'll have the second half of this version of issue 2 to see if you guys like how it ends, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do after that.
Awesome.
I suspect I'm going to be working on something completely different, but hopefully I'll have something to show for myself.
Look forward to seeing it. All right. Take care.
All right.
Good night, everyone.